Please, Tonkashla, allow me uh, to use your eyes, to use your ears, to use your mouth, to use your nose, and to use your heart and have that connection with you here on this earth, here on our mother. I ask for directions to east, south, west, north, to east, our mother, our father, and you, the creator, to allow us to all be together in this sacred space so that we can all connect, so that I could be able to share the vision that you've given me to to start on this path and move on this path in the way that you want me to. Thank you.
Uh, Okay, so one of the things that I have learned about you and regarding this vision is the fact that it starts off as something that happens to you. You feel the vision and it's feeling like it's coming from external and coming into you. And then the longer you live with the vision, then it just becomes a part of your way of life. So whoever's listening to this recording, it will have started off as something that's being done to you, but now, which was in 2021, um, but now we're recording and it's 3 years later. And so you've been living the vision now. And so understanding that very organic nature, we're asking you to kind of do your best to share with us how the vision was presented to you.
Uh, so it started with me. I call this my becoming a human phase. The first time I ever became a human again, and it's not to make it sound like I'm not human. I just have a different connection with the creator and the universe. And so my mother and my teacher both got sick. So in my traditional way of life, I had to go and make sure that I was present and that my focus was toward their healing. They got healed, they got taken care of, and then my mom wanted to go on a trip. She's like, I want to go on a trip and I want to go and go someplace I've never been. I'm like, where would you like to go? And this was at the end of COVID when everything was starting to when everything was starting to open up, all the national parks were starting to open up, the hotels. So that's how we got lucky because I would have never been able to stay in Yellowstone to uh, with so many people, my whole family and my mother, and staying in cabins in Yellowstone, or to be able to reserve them. So we went. I made the reservations. We made our way to Yellowstone. We did the touristing. We enjoyed the sights. We enjoyed the animals, and it was a wonderful time. On our last evening, we're getting ready to head back to the Old Faithful in like winter cabin or something like that. We were coming from the north, heading back down south, back down to Old Faithful area, and then I wanted to see some geysers, and it was a little drive through. It was a loop, so we turned off. We went this little loop, and we seen these small little geysers, and it was really cool. When we drove past the area where I got introduced to the buffaloes, there was no buffaloes. There was nobody there. Looking around, pretty observant. Um, so I got back on the main road, and we're heading south again. And there were these vehicles parked along the road or in the middle of the road. And it was when we seen buffaloes. I can't recall how many. All I know is that there was a male and a female, maybe another buffalo. Um, what I remember is one of them crossed and was walking on the passenger side of the vehicle, and there was another one that the male that went into the middle of the road, and I was the next person in line. The other vehicle started to speed up, and that buffalo was in the middle of the road and came walking toward the driver's side door. And that's when I was I I looked at the buffalo. I had my windows down, and I always have tobacco, and I made an offering. I said, "Thank you so much for everything that you do." And that's when the buffalo bowed its head and like kind of knelt down and bowed its head. My mom actually has a picture of that moment because she was sitting behind me and the in the suburban. Never seen that before. That to have a to have such uh, a huge creature, a huge animal going bow like the way it did. Uh, so thank you so much, and made the offering again, and um, I did not think twice about it. I just said that was really that was something interesting to see. I assume that a lot of other tourists got that opportunity to have a buffalo bow right by their driver's side door. Um, Later on, I find out that's very rare. Um, we stayed a night at the hotel in Old Faithful in like snow something. Um, Next morning, I get up and I'm getting this huge pull. I say pull because it was that's what it felt like. I couldn't stop thinking about me heading east because we were our plan was to head south back toward Denver and then head across on the 70 and head back to Cedar City. Uh that didn't happen. I went to my family. I'm like, I'm getting this huge pull, this this spiritual like pull. I need to head east. And when I face any other direction, I don't have this feeling. But once turn east, it feels like somebody's pulling me. I said, oh, well, I need to go east. Can we go east? Like, yeah, I've never been east. What's east? I go, we'll just head through Wyoming and then start getting into South Dakota. And we just started heading east. First place we went, the first place we stopped at, not stayed overnight, but we stopped in Devil's Tower because I've had an experience there before or a vision there before. Um, a few years before that, probably about 2014-15 timeframe. I went to help a friend of mine um, pick up some personal items, and we in Michigan, and we made our way up to Devil's Tower, and we headed straight across on I believe the 80 or the 90. I don't remember. Um, it's, oh, the 90. So I went to Devil's Tower, and then I had a vision there. That's different vision, but the vision was that I got picked up by a man who had uh, claws of a hawk or an eagle. But I looked when I looked up, I seen a man pull me from Devil's Tower all the way into the universe. And he explained some things. I was assuming that that was going to happen again, and that's where I needed to go. And my family had never seen Devil's Tower, so we went over there, and I was trying to I was just I was very much trying to figure it out. I got pulled to a few other places in a direction south of Devil's Tower or southwest of Devil's Tower, and I couldn't go any farther. I don't know why, and I haven't been back. And in the future, I'll go back. Um, so it wasn't there. I left. We left, and we got back on the highway. We were headed back east. It's like this is not it. We went to our next stop was Sturgis because my wife's father, my father-in-law, uh, he's a big Harley enthusiast. So we went over to the Harley Davidson shop, got a few T-shirts, and then that's when I was sitting in the vehicle or in the Suburban. I go, I need to head this direction. It was like a northeasterly direction. Everything shifted from an easterly pole to a northeasterly pole, and that's when I went down. Uh, that's when I went headed toward the northeast, and then I was in like in this valley, this almost canyon, and then we popped up and it was the plains. Like there was no more hills, there was nothing, and then I seen um the mountain. I seen the mountain off in the distance on my left hand side of the vehicle, and I could see the mountain. I'm like, that's where I need to go, and I didn't know what that was at the time. And I still don't. I didn't know until I drove up to the state park. We made our way up that direction, and then bam, there was a sign that said Bear Butte State Park, and then it showed a sign to the ranger station. I went up to the ranger station, and the day before, the ranger station caught on fire, so nobody was there. So I didn't know what else to do, and so I was like, "Creator, I need your help. I don't know where else to go. I'm here. Am I supposed to go to the top? Am I supposed to be here? Am I just supposed to make an offering?" And he goes, "Over here." Okay, I'm like, I don't know how to get over there because there's no roads. As we were driving up, I noticed a little sign on, and there was a turn off, a paved road that kind of went down a hill, and it said official personnel only. I'm like, okay, I don't need to go that direction. And then as I was sitting at the um, in the parking lot in front of the ranger station, I remembered that. I'm like, I need to head that direction. So I went to that sign, kind of sat there for a few seconds, and was thinking like, am I official personnel? I'm like, yeah, I am. I'm gonna go down this direction. If I get in trouble, I'm gonna get in trouble. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to, but I just need to go. I'm getting pulled. So we drove down this little hill, and then we noticed a road trees, a little opening with it looked like a bridge, looked like a bathroom, and then a vehicle that was parked there with a lady, I believe her daughter. And we parked as far away as we could at the other end, so we didn't disturb anybody. Because that's not my sacred site. Now it is, but before that time it was not. I went and let's see. I'm gonna ask my family again if I do this, it's gonna change our lives. If any of you say no, it's okay. I'll get back in the Suburban, and we'll all head back home. We'll all head home, and we'll live our lives. I said, I'm okay with that. I said, but all of you need to be 100% behind this. And that's when um, my family all said yes. I said, okay. So I always carry tobacco. And I grabbed the tobacco and went across the bridge because you couldn't see past it. The road trees, the trees were blocking the view of that sacred spot. I went across the bridge and I stopped. And I looked around and I noticed all of these lodges, these inipis that were all there. And I'm like, I'm in a sacred spot. I don't know what I need to do. I don't understand why I'm here. So I turned around, went back to the Suburban. I literally ran back to the Suburban and told my family, I'm like, there's a lot of lodges over there. There's east facing ones, there's west facing ones. And I don't know how many. I didn't count, but there's a lot. I said, so this is even bigger. So I asked him again, this is going to change our lives. if I can continue or not. It depends on all of us. One of you says no, then um, we'll pack up and we'll head back home. And they all said yes. So they all went with me this time to cross the bridge. And that's when my family seen it. We were in this like little grass area with a tree, and it looked like there was probably a teepee there or some type of canvas, and the kids were kind of playing around. I was like, "Please, hey everyone, hey kids, just be respectful. Um, don't be too loud. Just be really very reverent as best as you can." Um, and so the kids were really didn't know what was happening or the level of importance of that whole area, and I didn't know at the time. I knew it was important because of the amount of lodges that were around. And so when I said a prayer, I went to go say a prayer and made an offering, and that's when I was told I needed to go on top of what I call the Razor's Back. You have Bear Butte, and you have a saddle. There's a saddle. If you've ever been there, you'll know what I'm talking about. There's a saddle, and then there's the mountain with the peak, and then on that's on the western side of that saddle. On the eastern side of that saddle, it kind of goes up and it kind of ends, and there's this. I call it the Razor's Back. It looks very much like this: cliff on one side and very steep hill on the other side. Um, so that's when I said I need to go up there. I didn't know where up there meant. I just needed to go up there. So I had my tobacco. Oh, I remember now, and I also had a piece of red cloth, um, just to make an offering because I remember walking back and then getting when I got my family, I got a piece of red cloth. Those are the only things I had. And when I was told to go up on top, that I knew that I needed to go up there. I went up. I started making my way. I asked my family again. Okay, this is the last time I'm going to ask you. This is the fourth time I'm going to ask you. Very last time. You say no, it's okay. This is going to change our lives. Do you want me to continue? They all said yes. Are you sure this is going to change our whole lives? And they go, yes. Okay, gave them all a hug. I said, I'll see you on the other side. And then I ran toward, I have no idea where I ran to because I can only describe it. I just head toward the trees, the high grass, and I didn't know I was following a trail. All I knew is I was walking, or I'm sorry, jogging in this high grass that was above my knees, past a few lodges, and I was like, "Sorry, I'm not here to disturbing you. I'm not here to be. I'm not here to. I'm only here to move in a sacred way." So I grabbed a little bit of tobacco, just made an offering, and I continued on. I climbed this really steep hill, probably like that steep, all the way up as far as I go. I was on the south side of that Razor's Back, I call. And as I made my way as far as I could, and I had to climb up toward the north, and I started to notice uh, vision quests, offerings, and prayer ties, and um, like little vision quest pits. I was, whoa, yeah, this is really sacred. So I made an offering. I'm like, I'm not here to disturb this. This is not my land. I'm being as respectful as I can. I apologize if I did anything wrong. I made an offering. I passed like two or three of them. They did the same things. Um, and then I got to a point where I had to start climbing. So I was climbing on top of these boulders, and I was following like the the very tops of that razor's back, and I was climbing in and out and all the way. And then I noticed there was a little pine tree hanging out, and that was like maybe the center. I'm not sure, but I made my way toward that pine tree, and that's when they told me to stop, just little ways from it. The pine tree was probably on my lower right hand side, and when I got to the top where I was told to stop. And that's when I started making a prayer, made an offering to the directions. And I said, "Thank you for allowing me to be here. I know this is important. I don't know why I'm here. Please let me know." And that's when I got the presents. And I didn't know who it was at the beginning because as I looked out into the horizon, I noticed a figure coming closer and closer and closer. And that's when I noticed it started to appear like a lady. I'm like, all right. I don't know how to interpret this. So that's when she came forward and I noticed her and she was wearing green. Everything radiated from her, from behind her like that. But it was green what she was wearing. And this is how she appeared to me. And I did not understand at the time who it was, or I kind of did, but it was just a theory. And then it wasn't until I was like later when I sat and said other prayers, that's when it was revealed who it was. One, she gave me the instructions that I needed, or at that time I didn't know it was by Buffalo Calf Woman. I know in the past, I know from teachings that she came in all the colors, all the four sacred colors. That's not how she appeared to me. She appeared to me in green, and, and the connection I have felt with her, and the connection that I felt with her was so strong, like she was my mom, my grandmother, my daughter, my wife, all my whole lineage. That's what she felt like. It it was a very familiar feeling, but I understood the that's I don't know how to describe what I'm trying to say right now. All I'm going to say is that it felt like all of the women I've ever met, the ones that took care of me, and the ones that I that's the way it felt. That's the best way I can describe it. Uh, I don't remember the introduction. I don't remember. I remember her saying that I needed to start a dance. You need to start a dance. You need to have the dance completed by the end of the next summer. Oh, you have no idea the response or how um I remember when she said that and I was thinking about the logistics. I was thinking about the squirrel stuff. I kind of got lost in that thought at that time. It was about how am I supposed to have a Sundance completed in 1 year? I don't know where to go. I don't know who to go with. I haven't been doing this for a few years. And it wasn't doubt. It wasn't doubt at all. It was uh understanding the amount of planning needed to go and mm, m- to make this vision have come together. And so and then she goes, all of this right here all belongs to you. And she spun me and I was standing there and I was facing east, and she was on the east. She was facing me, but she was facing the west, and I was looking toward the east. And picked me up, and then she spun me. I can't tell you if that was what my family seen from down below. And then she goes, "All of this belongs to you." And all of this, like, what do you mean? All of this belongs to me? She goes, "All of this belongs to you." I still don't know the meaning behind that. The next part of it, the message was, "Let no man tell you how to do the ceremony. You have you will get the instructions from the Creator." Uh, um, I understood that message um, very differently at that one point. I thought it was going to be like through prayer, and since then, it's evolved into different ways of the connection, the intimate connection, and the instructions, the pieces that everybody brings. That's what, and I didn't know at the time I didn't have an altar because coming to that one point, I had my human phase. I call when I first started off with the story is that I put everything down. I took care of my family. I was a human being. I made human being mistakes, and so that's I had nothing. The people I did ceremony with prior to, they went a different direction, and I wasn't a part of that direction be, because it didn't feel right for me here, and so I did not understand or I didn't know everybody I knew um, in the Sundance world. uh, Pretty much moved away from them. Did not have any communication with them. I had very few people that I communicated with, and so I didn't have the altar. I didn't know which. I didn't know where I was going to learn it. I didn't know if I learned it. I don't know if I understood this way of life. I didn't know. I've always been a helper. I've always been in support. I never necessarily been the person up front. So I had to come up with an altar within a year, or find an altar that would, or a group, a family, a Sundance family that would allow me to uh, use their altar. I didn't have one. Uh, the other part of that was follow the lineage. Follow the lineage from you all the way back. I didn't understand that. I'm like, I know the lineage. No, I did not know the lineage at all. Um, and at that time, um, I didn't understand the responsibility I was given uh, by by White Buffalo Catwoman. That's who showed up. There's more, and because this is a living vision, this part of the vision is there are other things that need to be revealed first, so that as I move forward, I can reveal it. Um, but that hasn't happened yet.